All right. Here we are. It's
What's
Wednesday.
up, guys?
What's going on, everybody? It's good to see you. This is the Death Rattle Podcast right here. Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. over on
what
the coast.
number?
This is episode number 64.
Nice.
It has been hard to keep track of the actual episode numbers because of how many times this show has changed. But I've been keeping it's been the same show in spirit. So
Yeah.
I've been keeping the count going.
Yeah.
Because it was
like just from here forward with the thumbnails, it'll be the easiest way to know. Just be like, what was the last thumbnail say? Okay.
Right.
One
Yeah.
more than
Yeah. So that's it. So anyway,
welcome everybody.
What's going on, Terry? Good to see you. Ralph wants to know which one has the most people in chat. Well, it's going to be Ghost Pirate, the Ghost Pirate channel, because there's just way more people over there. But we are always asking to please just switch over, and we put a link there right in the chat. Please just switch over to the Death Rattle Podcast and chat there. It would be really awesome. I know it's kind of weird having a multi-stream, but we're just doing this right now because we know a lot of you over at Ghost Pirate like the show, and we're also trying to grow that channel. So we're kind of trying to do a double thing there. But eventually, at some point,
if you want to hang out in the Ghost Pirate chat, that's fine. But like, at least go and subscribe to the Death Rattle Podcast. And like, there is a chat going over there. Or if you have two devices, do that. Like, have it on, both. It'll open up on both devices and then chat in whichever one you want to chat in. We're just trying to grow that because, like, once that becomes monetized on its own, it'll really help us in a lot of ways, like to pay for itself and to grow. To be honest, like, it's hard to grow it here because the algorithm won't really show it because it doesn't fit the rest of the content on the Ghost Pirate channel. So that's why they only get like maybe 1,000 views versus like 20, 30, 40,000 views, because the algorithm's like, what's this? I'm not going to promote that. That's not what people watch on this channel. Right. So that's why we do it. A little behind the scenes reasoning.
John says, welcome and hope for those who are getting snow, stay warm. Yeah. So,
oh my God, dude, in the South, even
I didn't get, so it's all of the snow in Florida happened around me. So but
that's insane. I didn't know that was even possible.
It's possible. This is the first time that Northeast Florida has gotten snow in the last, I think, 10 years. I think 10 years
Georgia,
ago they got snow.
Like, even Georgia's got snow.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So
like, it's just insane. It's like the world is, global warming is real.
No. All right.
I buy the whole that we have been in a mini ice age. Like, that's what.
Well, that's the thing. We're going through a global cooling period.
Yeah,
and it's been cooling for the last like 300-400 years. Well, I don't know. They just came out with something like that, but people will say
but the reason the global warming thing, there is stuff to that too, because it's not just a global cooling, because
maybe
like we have, we do, like, in Antarctica is warming up. So, you know what I mean? It's more than just a global cooling.
This is not that show. We're not talking about that. this is not that
our
show.
We talk about what we want.
Okay. I don't want to talk about about global warming. Like, yes, as a phenomena, as something the Earth does. Oh, is that new? I
have two eyes. Yep.
That's awesome.
Two eyes.
All right, good.
Yeah, I just got it.
Good distraction.
Yesterday. It's the logo.
That's fucking awesome, dude. That looks great.
Thank you. Yeah,
here, let me make you solo. Look at that. You did it last night, you said?
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah, I like the idea that I can go like this and cover my patch. It's like I have my other eye, because that's the whole reason that this is the logo of the channel. Like, I don't really ever explain it, but the reasoning behind that is because it's like my second eye.
Right.
So, like, that was the thought process behind designing the logo. It's like the other part of me, the other, like, almost like what goes on in this side of my brain. You know what I mean? The covered up one. And so that's why I always wear an extra eye earring on this side and a black one on this side. It's like my second eye. Like, I've always been kind of obsessed with eyes. So
that's good, man. The windows to the soul.
Yeah, exactly.
What's going on, Heather? Good to see you. Yeah, it's in the negatives in Ohio, isn't it? That's my old stomping grounds. is Akron, Ohio. So
yeah, and it's warm here. Like it feels like straight up spring here, dude.
Oh man,
like you can pretty much run around with a t-shirt on.
We're gonna be back in the 60s next week.
Oh, I know. So, I'm just saying it's weird this year. You know, it's like LA is not getting any rain at all. Instead, it's just hot and burning.
Okay. What's going on, Dave?
We actually have some news.
We do have news today. I'm going to say hi to everybody first. Steven.
Definitely.
What's going on? -47, including wind chill in North Dakota. Good Jesus. Lord.
Oh, and how we're going to do this so that we can involve the chat more and all of that. When you guys have a question, we're going to do our best to answer questions.
Yeah.
You know, if you say random things, it's like we can't always keep up with everything that everybody says. But if you have a question, start your comment off with question. Like have question and then whatever your question is, so that we can kind of keep an eye out for any questions, and we'll try to involve you guys from here forward in that way. It doesn't mean we're going to be able to always get to every question, but that's the best way we can do it, as well as super chats. Of course, if you help support the channel with the super chat, we'll always do our best to get to those. Those got to take priority because those actually are financially helping the channel exist. So
first question of the night is from Wolfbane. He says, what's up, everybody? Wednesday night horror talk at Remark. Can we get an hour 30 tonight? Yeah, so this is actually something that Kanan and I talked about after last week after the show. We started doing an hour of the show because we wanted to try to introduce a little bit more structure. So we knew that if we had an hour, you know, we knew that we could spend so much time on this instead of just, you know, going off on a tangent. But just the types of guys that we are seems to be fighting against that. And so,
well, and as it's evolved, it's becoming almost more of a stream.
Yeah.
Instead of like a real structured podcast. And we're just, instead of fighting back, we're just letting it be what it wants to be, like what it wants to become. So
unless,
there's not going to be, but you can't count on that either. There'll be times where it still is going to be an hour, like depending on what we have going on. If one of us has to bail or whatever, we'll always do our best to give it at least an hour. So we're just going to put it that way. Like always you can count on an hour, but there'll be bonus time. Sometimes it might even go 2 hours. Who knows? You know, if we really get into something, but you could always count on an hour.
What's going on, Jack? It's all right. You're not that late. It's 7:07. So we're good. Okay. Terry has a question. We're going to talk about Wolfman. We are going to talk about Wolfman. We got it in the title there.
Ralph? Virginia in the house.
So we're going to do that.
I've never been to Virginia. That's one of the states I've never been to.
I drive through Virginia. It's pretty nice. The mountains.
I may have driven through there as a kid.
I've always wanted to experience Appalachia. And,
I know I think because isn't Tennessee, Appalachia in Tennessee? Some of Tennessee.
Well, the Appalachian Mountains go through pretty much.
Yeah, so I think that's the only like Appalachian area I've seen was Tennessee. Maybe. I don't know. I've been to quite a few, but it was when I was young, so I don't remember a lot of it. Anyway, yeah. So Wolfman. We have a couple news stories though, so we'll get to like Wolfman after we talk about these, you know, other stories first, because then we're going to talk about the news story involving the Wolfman, but then also talk about our experience with it, our spoiler-free review of it.
Right.
We're not going to spoil it, so don't worry. And if we do decide we're going to get into spoiler, which I don't think we will, but if we do, we'll warn you ahead of time.
Okay.
There's not much so you could spoil about that movie unless you literally just like say what happens at the end.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's not like there's a twist in it. It's not like there's, I don't know.
The
trailer does a great job of showing you basically the movie. So
you kind of already know what you're getting into.
You should know. If you watch a trailer for a Blumhouse movie, you should know by now that you're going to see most of the movie.
Yeah.
Like the big moments.
So that takes us to our first news story. This is from Bloody Disgusting. Cineverse saves the Toxic Avenger remake with an unrated theatrical release later this year.
This is so exciting, man.
And here's a little teaser of Toxie.
There's quite a few images, actually. If you if you look around the internet, there's quite a few stills because this movie played at a couple film festivals like Fantastic Fest and stuff last year. So quite a few people have seen it.
Yeah. So it says, we're excited to announce today that Cineverse has saved director Masque Blair's The Toxic Avenger Remake and plans an unrated wide.
I think it's Macon Blair.
Is it Macon? I don't know. Because if it was a French name, it's Masson.
I know, but that's how I've heard it pronounced, as Macon Blair. DJ? Crap. I think we lost DJ. Yep, we lost DJ. We were worried that his Wi-Fi has been being kind of funky today. So while he's trying to reconnect, let me see if I can get some questions in the chat. What's up, Susurrus Apprentice?
Am I back?
Yep, you're back.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I told them that we knew it was a possibility that you could drop. So, we'll keep giving it a shot. If it drops too much, then we'll just call it and I'll just do the rest.
All right.
Solo.
Okay.
So just be warned, everybody, that this might end up being DJ dropping out a few times and then just me the rest of the way.
It might be.
Yeah.
Let's try to get through this. Bloody Disgusting's parent company, Cineverse, acquired all U.S. and Canadian theatrical home entertainment and streaming rights through a deal with Legendary Entertainment. The news was first reported by Variety this afternoon, which this article was posted yesterday. The fresh take on the beloved anti-hero known as Toxie was directed by Macon Blair. I don't feel at home in this world anymore. I haven't seen that yet. And stars Emmy and Golden Globe winner Peter Dinklage, Game of Thrones, Kevin Bacon, Friday the 13th, Stir of Echoes, and Elijah Wood. Toxic Avenger is daring and darkly comedic reimagining of the cult classic franchise that first took the world by storm in the 1980s. Quote, in this bold new chapter of the classic midnight movie franchise created by Lloyd Kaufman and Troma Entertainment, a shocking accident transforms downtrodden janitor Winston Goose Dinklage into a mutant vigilante. Armed with his signature... Armed with his signature mop, the unlikely hero battles freaks, gangsters, and corrupt CEOs while trying to save his relationship with his son. Okay, so that's different.
Never seen Toxic Avenger?
Yeah, I saw the original.
Oh, okay.
That's not the story of the original. This is a new story.
Yeah, well, this is quite a bit different because Peter Dinklage transforms into like a different version of Toxie in this.
Right? Yeah.
Like, but it's still roughly the same story from what I know. Like they try to keep it somewhat. It's kind of like a loose remake. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The story channels the subversive gonzo energy of the original Toxic Avenger while delivering a fresh contemporary twist. The film features an all-star cast that also includes Jacob Tremblay, Julia Davis, and Taylor Page. Opening to critical acclaim at Fantastic Fest, the Toxic Avenger has been hailed as a riotous blend of social satire, inventive gore, and unexpected heart. With a 92% score on Rotten Tomatoes, who gives a shit? The film reaffirms the enduring power of subversive cinema to captivate and challenge audiences. The Toxic Avenger isn't just a great film, it's an important one, said Cineverse chairman and CEO Chris McGurk. Peter Dinklage's transformative performance.
It is.
And
I know it's a funny statement, but it really is. The original Toxic Avenger is huge because what it did helped do for indie film.
Trust me. I'm a huge Kaufman fan. I am very much like,
but it is also
very aware of it.
It is also a very ridiculous movie.
It's just so funny to read that sentence about a Toxic Avenger movie. That's
even though it is true, it's still, I know exactly what you mean.
And Macon Blair's fearless direction delivers a story.
Bacon, but with an M.
Macon.
I'm telling you, we're gonna get a whole bunch of comments because it's a well-known director.
Whatever. I also said in my review of The Crow last year, I called him Danny Huston instead of Danny Houston.
Oh, Houston? Yeah. Did you get a lot? I made the same mistake in one video and I got a ton of comments.
Yeah, I didn't. No, nobody said anything. But the way that I pronounce Oregon, somebody commented on that in my Wolfman
But it's
review.
Oregon.
No, it's Oregon or something like that. And it's
that's
Oregon.
bullshit. No, nobody on the West Coast pronounces it that way. It's Oregon.
Yeah.
So those people can go fuck themselves.
I know. I was like, of all the
things, that's totally different. I think pronouncing someone's name, like you want to pronounce their name the way they say their name.
Right, but I've never heard Macon Blair say his name. So
I know, but I have.
Okay.
It's Macon.
Where am I? Macon Blair's fearless direction, deliver a story that
you don't got to read the whole article.
Why? That's what I do. I read the all right, fine.
This is a long ass article.
It's not that long. It's not that long.
I've been reading 10 minutes.
It's not that long. Chad, help me out. Fine, let's talk about it then. If you don't want me to read it, let's talk about the.
I think generally with articles, you just want to kind of get the gist, and then, people hear us talk about it. If they want to go read the whole thing, they can go read it.
That's the headline.
That is available on Bloody Disgusting.
If you want to get the gist of the article, you just read the headline.
Yeah, but it's going into like the first part. I definitely, but it was going into like all this other stuff about it that we don't need to know, especially because it's going to be things that we would talk about anyway, because I was going to say it was at Fantastic Fest, and I actually know a number of people that saw it and were blown away at how much they liked it. Like, because most people expected it to be a pile of trash, but from what I've heard, it's not as trashy in the same way as the original Toxic Avenger. Yet it still is. It still is like that schlock, element about it. So it's still fun. It's not taking itself too serious, but at the same time, it's in a different way. Well, but I just think it's weird that, like, why wasn't it released? Like, that's what's so strange to me. Like, this almost got deleted. There was a lot of people talking about that it was going to get deleted and written off, like Supergirl. Like, that's what the plan was. From what I've heard, they were going to do with it. Like, that almost happened with Salem's Lot, too. Did you see it? What? Toxic Avenger? Yeah. No, I didn't get to go to Fantastic Fest. Remember, I was there, and everybody that was with me at Rob Zombie got to go, but I didn't know it ahead of time, so I didn't have tickets. Oh, so I'm literally right fucking there. I can't go. It sucks. Yeah, no, I'm going to try to go this year, though. Because if you could apply for media credentials, you can go to it for free. Otherwise, it's like $500-$600 to get tickets. So I'm looking. Sorry, it's Jack is asking when it's supposed to drop. I don't know. I'm looking through the article. It's just later this year. It's just later this year. It doesn't have an like this. Literally just happened. So they just got the rights. So I mean, they'll probably announce a date and then release a trailer because there's still never been a trailer. I don't believe. I haven't seen one. Yeah. So, all right. So I know there's sneak peek stuff, but this I'm actually really excited about. Well, so A24 is adapting Poe's The Masque of the Red Death with Sydney Sweeney in talks to star. That would be sick. Sydney Sweeney's star is rising. Oh yeah. And for good reason. She's really good. Well, a lot of people don't realize is it's not just that she's a great actress and beautiful, is that she's involved behind the scenes. Right. Like she's been producing a lot of the projects she's been in. Right. So she's financially connected, which means she gets to have a lot more say in the movies. Well, and she gives a shit. Instead of her buying cars and houses and all that, she's just investing it right back into her career. And it's the smartest thing I've heard, because when you're famous initially for your beauty, it's going to fade at some point. So what are you going to be left with? You know what I mean? But if you're immediately getting into producing or writing and directing and whatever, it don't matter if you're gorgeous or not. You can eventually, your looks can fade and you can still have a job. You can still be involved and still creating things. So like, I hope more young people see her, because I know, what's his name? Sorry, I'm fighting a little bit of a cold. Timothy Chalamet is doing the same thing. Like he's been investing a ton of his money right back in. And like, that's what, what's his name? The guy that played Frodo. Elijah Wood. Yeah, that's what Elijah Wood did. He started his own production company and makes his own movies. Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, it shows that she has a passion for what she does and that she gives a shit about the movies that she's in, and that's good. I mean, like, we need more people like that. Yep. So, again, from Bloody Disgusting, the classic Edgar Allan Poe tale of The Masque of the Red Death is headed back to the screen with a new movie adaptation from A24 and Picture Start. Deadline. Hold on. There was a movie of it, right? Didn't what's it called? Hang on. House. Hammer horror. Wasn't there a Hammer horror?
There's
Masque of the Red Death with Vincent Price. Is that the one I'm thinking of? I know he did. I know he did a number of Poe movies, and I'm pretty sure Masque of the Red Death.
Yes, 1964. Roger Corman. Wow, wait a minute. I've never seen this.
It's really good. I just don't remember. Like, it has been years since I've seen it, like probably 20 or more years, but I remember it being really good. I was obsessed with Vincent Price for a while. Like, I was like,
I gotta
anything he was in, I was gonna watch.
Yeah, I gotta add this to my list. Vincent Price.
Yeah, he did like 4 or 5 with Roger Corman.
Nice.
Vincent Price, and doing because they did like Pit and the Pendulum, and I don't know, I forget the names, but there's like 4 or 5 Edgar Allan Poe. And so that's why this excites me so much, is because why have people not been doing Edgar Allan Poe adaptations? Like, you know what I mean? Instead of making all these fucking remakes and whatever, like, dude, there's all these amazing writers that have stories that just sit there that could easily be adapted into movies, you know, or in a way it is a remake, but like from the 70s, like you can do whatever with it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Poe should have his stories be turned into movies. I think it's good. So Sydney Sweeney's in Toxic Star. It says deadline details in today's report. The original Poe short story, follows the prince who attempts to avoid a dangerous plague known as the Red Death by hiding in his abbey. Details behind the new take are being kept under wraps. Sources say the film will shoot this year. 1842, the original story. Man.
Yeah, that's what's so interesting about Poe's work, is because you could do multiple things with it. You could do a period piece. So, you know, like of the time, like, you know, most of the ones that were like all the Hammer ones that were done in the 70s were all period piece. You know, they all were taking place in the 1800s or before that, even like the way Poe, but you could also update them and take that same story and make it from any era. And all of a sudden it's kind of a remake, but it's also kind of its own thing because, you know, you're doing your own era. So,
yeah.
Which is like, you know, the one thing I did like about the Wolfman, you know, I did like how it was brought into the present, you know what I mean? It isn't, but I still would really like to see if you're going to do a Wolfman remake, I would love to see a period one done by, you know, like what we saw with Nosferatu. I think if you do that same thing with Wolfman, that's when we get an amazing Wolfman. But
we're gonna get that.
What?
We are gonna get it's. I just saw it when I was on Bloody Disgusting. Here, I'll look. This was published 7 hours ago.
Yeah, like probably right after remember I sent you these stories. It probably was supposed to right after that.
What? Werewolf, Robert Eggers directing a 13th century werewolf movie for Christmas 2026.
What the fuck, dude? Yeah, hell yeah. That's like exactly. I almost even said Eggers.
Because breaking news here on the Death Rattle Podcast.
His period piece is like, it's better than anybody else's because it's so meticulous. And it's like, even if you don't love the story or the pacing or whatever, you know, I think everybody can appreciate like that he gets it right. Like it looks genuine, it looks real, it feels like it really is of that time.
Yeah,
you know.
He's right. It says Eggers wrote werewolf or werewolf, for the German,
which is exactly. It's like people are going to do the same thing that they did with the witch, where people are like the bitch, because he names them accurate to the time, and that's how werewolf was spelled in Germany in that time, like in the original lore, like when it was like its first legend or whatever.
So he wrote it with the same guy who wrote the Northman, so we know that's going to be good. Yeah, this is going to be good.
It's going to be good. I love that. Not only I love that because it also means that people believe enough in Nosferatu and his other stuff to continue to give him, because his movies are not cheap. Should.
Robert Eggers is a great filmmaker. I mean, like,
but this says that even before Nosferatu came out, this was already in the works. And, and that's what I mean by like the fact that they're like they believe enough that he was going to make money and not lose his shirt with, because his other movies, as much as horror fans love them, the majority of horror fans or whatever, they haven't made a bunch of money at box office. Nosferatu is the first one he's made that made like a lot of money. Like it's still making money.
Well, that's because of fucking COVID.
Well, no, I mean, even The Witch, as much as it's loved, it didn't make much. Lighthouse didn't. The Lighthouse came out.
Lighthouse came out in the middle of COVID. Witch came.
No, it didn't. No, did it? No, it didn't. Lighthouse came out in 2019.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. It did come out. Well, hang on. Did it come out in 2019?
Yeah.
Or was it released? No. Did it do its festival run in 2019?
It didn't do a festival run.
Okay, so it did come out in 2020. The festival run was in. Huh?
No, it was in theaters in Halloween, October, November of 2020 or 2019.
Let me look.
Because that's when I saw it. I know because I will never forget 2020. I know exactly everything that was going on in my life.
You're right. Okay, never mind. You're right. My bad. You're right. It came out November 1st, 2019.
Yeah, and it just, it's his movies are very artsy, so those kind of A24 movies don't generally make money. Plus, back then, those movies are starting to make money now. A lot of it is because A24 finally has enough money to start promoting their movies, Yeah. Like that movie wasn't really promoted, and it's very weird. And it's like nobody thought that movie was going to make money. It made back its budget. He's not losing money. He's never lost money. He just hasn't had movies that make 100 million or anything until now.
So I wanted to read this. The script also features, so details are scarce. Sources say the story is set in 13th century England. The script also features dialogue that was true to the time period and has translations and annotations for those uninitiated in Old English. Who wrote this?
Oh, that's awesome.
John Squire.
That's going to be so awesome. Like that was one thing I loved about Nosferatu is when there were those scenes, instead of having people speaking the same language, that he had subtitles. I love that. That's how you should do it if you're doing a period piece.
Yeah. No,
I love that we're seeing more and more, not just him, but more and more filmmakers in general, where it's like anytime in a movie they're interacting with foreigners instead of having like in the old days where it would be like they're still speaking the same language. It's like we're speaking German right now, but we're still speaking English. You just got to pretend. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I love that now. So anyway, that is super exciting. I did not know that. So thank you, DJ, for adding that story because I didn't see that this morning.
Breaking news. So that's gonna take.
Because I was looking at this stuff about like when did I text you? Like maybe 10, like 9 or 10 this morning.
You texted me. When did you text me? You said 9 or 10 in the morning your time. So that'd have been noon 30 my time. So this was posted an hour before you texted me.
Yeah, 9:30.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So
way to looking out. So
Universal
is. Yep.
Universal's Wolfman opened at 12.5 million over the long holiday weekend. It's no secret that Universal's been having a tough time bringing their classic Universal monsters back to the big screen for a new generation in recent years, with films including Renfield, which is garbage, The Last Voyage of Demeter, which is bad, Abigail, which is also bad.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
All three of those movies are bad.
No. Last Voyage of the Demeter is not bad.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's a home run. It's not like Nosferatu or like it wasn't the best movie of the year or anything like that. But it's entertaining for what it is. It's a simple movie. There's no reason that movie shouldn't have made its budget. That movie got completely fucked over.
I kept checking.
If you look at the behind the scenes stuff for that movie got totally screwed.
I mean, well, that sucks, but also,
why did they spell Wolfman 2 words? Did you notice that?
Yeah, because that's how it's done.
No, it's not.
It's written like that on IMDb
one word.
too. It's not.
Oh, you're right. Why did he change that? That's annoying. That's annoying.
It's 2. Yeah, it's 2. It's Wolfman.
So they're calling it a Wolfman remake, but it's like it kind of isn't. Like everything about it, we'll get into it, but like everything about it really is different. It's not at all the first movie. Like it's not a remake of the original.
Right. I want to look here. Hang on a second. We have
Yeah, sorry. Let's get to.
We got a couple of questions that I want to, guys. If you have a question you want us to read, write question and then like colon.
Yeah,
so that
to
we can
start
see it.
comment.
But John says, has anyone seen the animated film Extraordinary Tales? All Edgar Allan Poe stories. It was amazing hearing Bela Lugosi's reading of The Telltale Heart. Yeah, I watched that on, I think it was on Netflix. This is years ago, but I thought it was really good. It's a really good animated adaptation of a lot of.
I just realized my comment thing isn't
Poe stories.
Track.
Oh,
here we go. Question: are we going to talk about Wolfman? We're talking about it right now.
Yeah, that was earlier. We're talking about it.
Yeah.
And then I saw another one. Oh, Wolfbane says, so is Eggers the new master of horror? Has he dethroned Carpenter? Remember Flanagan's only a prick for now? No. And Flanagan's more of a master of horror than Eggers is right now.
Yeah.
I think
but
Eggers
even
but nobody's going to dethrone Carpenter. Carpenter is in a world of his own.
I just feel like it's very different as well. You know what I mean? Like
more than one,
especially Eggers. I don't feel like Eggers is a horror director. Like, as much as his movies have been in the horror-ish genre,
yeah,
they're more than just horror. Whereas John Carpenter, like most of his movies, especially ones he's known for, were very firmly in the horror category. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Like, The Thing is also sci-fi, but like, most of his movies were pretty locked in there. Whereas Eggers' movies, like even they're all period piece for one. And he even talked about today, he'll never do a movie with a car in it in an interview. And what he was meaning by that is like all his movies will be a period piece.
Wait, no, there wasn't.
What?
No, I lied. I lied. I lied.
100 years before.
I was thinking, I was thinking something else. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah. But yeah, so he loves to do period piece stuff. That's what he loves. That's what he does. And so, like, to me, that makes him much more of, like, I would compare him almost more to oh fuck, the guy that did The Birds. Why am I spacing on his name? Like, one of the most famous filmmakers ever. Hitchcock. Yeah, I would compare him more to like Hitchcock, where Hitchcock had a lot of horror movie-ish movies, but they were more thriller and they were kind of dancing all over the place. They had horror elements in them.
Yeah.
But nobody really thinks of him as a horror director. It's like he's a filmmaker that does live a lot in the thriller, kind of category.
Sure. So, yeah, I'll agree with that.
Whereas like John Carpenter, the majority of, and it's like Wes as well, like Craven, they're pretty much all horror. And then like maybe, why do I hear myself?
I don't know.
There's like an echo. Do you have my volume up or something?
No. Do you have echo cancellation on?
No, I didn't do anything. Just all of a sudden I'm hearing myself on your end. As long as they're not, it's fine.
Are you guys hearing an echo? Let us know. So the sole success story of the bunch was Lee Whannell's The Invisible Man, a bold take on the classic monster tale that scared up $144 million on a Blumhouse budget of just $7 million. So successful movie. Whannell is back in the box office with Wolfman for Blumhouse and Universal, another fresh take on a legendary monster from the Universal catalog. The new movie's production budget is a reported $25 million, quite a bit higher than the cost of The Invisible Man back in 2020. That means it'll have to make more to become profitable, and it's not off to a great start so far. Wolfman scared up $12.5 million across 3,354 theaters at the domestic box office over the 3-day Martin Luther King Jr. weekend, $10.9 million of which is made across the traditional 2-day weekend. Worldwide, Wolfman has thus far held its way to $17.3 million. So I also brought up the numbers of this movie, and I'll try to zoom in here. But here's the projections, and then here's where it's going. It's in the middle to kind of lower end of where it can go and what it can do. And I don't think this might make its money back. I think this is going to dip in the next weekend. And I
don't think it's going to make its money back. I don't think it'll even be close, because when you put marketing into it, and everything involved, and then, I don't think,
and then the theaters take, that's why I said I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be hard.
What is it at right now?
It's 18 million worldwide, 13 million box office.
Yeah, wasn't its budget around
25 million was its budget.
Yeah, dude, there's no way. That means it needs to make about 75 million.
Yeah.
To be in the black.
Yeah.
And sure, it'll make its money back once you add it, like Netflix picks it up or things like that. But as far as in theaters, I doubt it. Maybe worldwide it'll break even, but either way, it's a flop. It's another Blumhouse flop.
Well, and I have a theory on why.
What Wolfman said, he said, all Edgar movies are horror except The Northman. And I'm not saying they're not in the horror category, but they're also very much period pieces and they're also very much drama. So they're not like just solidly in the horror genre. They're like, that's an element of them. When you would describe one of his movies, you would say they're like a period horror drama thriller.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, they're still in there, but like, that's the difference between Carpenter. Most of Carpenter's, what are you going to say? Maybe sci-fi thriller for some, or sci-fi horror for some of them, but most of the movies he's known for, yeah, like Halloween, it's just a horror movie. That's it. It's not like a horror, anything else. So
yeah,
that's all I'm saying. The same with Wes Craven. It's like, he's known for horror.
Right.
And whereas Eggers is already known for an artsy filmmaker. You know what I mean? Like, he's known for being that more than like when he's talked about in Hollywood circles or wherever, nobody goes, that horror director Eggers,
Heather says, do you think
Eggers Flanagan, you're right. Flanagan is much more firmly in the horror world. And if he does an Exorcist that like holds up to what we expect from Flanagan or whatever, I think he will be the king of horror right now.
Yeah, I would agree. Heather says, do you think Eggers is aiming for an elevated monster verse?
No.
Yeah.
Because that would pigeonhole him. And Eggers is very much like I wouldn't be surprised at all if after he does this werewolf one, he does something out of left field like he did with Northman. Like, I almost guarantee it. He'll do a Western, or he'll do, you know what I mean? He'll do something that it'll probably still have horror-ish elements to it, but it'll be more like a sci-fi movie because he to me, every interview I've seen and everything I know about him and people that have worked with him and stuff, he's very much like an artist, and he wants to make stuff. He's not trying to be like, I'm this kind of filmmaker.
Right.
Like that's the same as what's his name that did Hereditary?
Ari
Aster. It's the same thing with Ari Aster. Like, people were trying to say he's a horror filmmaker for a minute, and then he goes and does I love the movie, but it's out there. The one with Joaquin Phoenix. It was the last Ari Aster movie.
I don't know if
one where Phoenix, it's like his life. You see the journey of the dude's life.
Oh, it's like Beau is Afraid.
Yeah, Beau is Afraid. Like a lot of people tried to say that was a horror movie, and like I didn't even count it in my horror movie list that year because I'm like, it's not a fucking horror movie. It has horror elements in it, but it's not a horror. It does not feel like a straight up horror movie. Like, if you want to, it's one of those things where people will think of certain movies that Carpenter did, like They Live. They Live's not a horror movie, but because it's Carpenter, people can count it in that horror genre. But for me, Ari Aster isn't a horror director yet, and I don't think he ever will be. He just happens to make movies that have horror elements in them, at times. So anyway.
Well, so all right, so let's talk about our reviews of Wolfman.
Yeah,
and maybe we can shine some light on why it hasn't been doing so well in the box office. Do you want to go first? You want me to?
I was underwhelmed. Like, that's really the best way I can put it. I didn't walk into the theater going, that was shit, or that's garbage. Like, it's flopping because it's so mid. And that's such a weird thing. Like, I haven't heard very many people say it's bad. It's just, it's like, okay.
But it's not good enough to recommend.
No, it's nothing special. And the main thing I can point at, because I know some people had a lot of issues with the transformation, the werewolf looking thing. And I get that it's different. It tried to do something very different the way Nosferatu, did with Count Orlok. I don't think it was as successful though as Count Orlok, because as out there as Count Orlok looks in Nosferatu, there is still something very menacing. And to me, as the movie went on, that look somehow worked. It just, especially that final scene of him, like it's just terrifying looking.
Yeah.
And the Wolfman in this, what I do really like about it, and I'm just sticking to the werewolf element, is one, his performance. He's amazing in it. The actor, I'm blanking on his name right now.
Oh,
he's like one of my favorite actors right now. Like, he is amazing in it. His emotions, like everything he does in it. And that's what's so weird. I can't put blame at all on the cast. And that's so bizarre to me, because I feel like the main problem with the movie, I'm being sidetracked, but like some people have a problem with the transformation, but I don't think that's a problem with the movie. I don't think it was amazing, but I don't think that's the problem. I think the problem with the movie is it doesn't feel like it has heart. Like, you don't feel what you should be feeling by the end of that movie. And I think so much of it is the chemistry of the couple, of the man and the woman. I think the little girl did a great job. I think, honestly, individually, they all did great jobs. But I feel like the way they were directed, especially when it came to interacting with each other, I don't think we felt like this was a real family. And I think so you don't come away with that impactful feel like you had to for this movie to really work.
Yeah. So I would agree with that. I think it's a very average, very mid movie. I thought it was fine, as far as an offering, but I honestly, I thought of this movie the same that I thought of The Invisible Man. And so that doesn't surprise me. I thought The Invisible Man was also pretty mid. I thought it was an okay movie. It was a fine offering. I didn't have any real problems with it, but nothing about it blew me away either. And I haven't watched it again since I watched it when it came out. And I think that's where Leigh Whannell just is as a director right now. I think he's okay. And that's why what you said about the family, why they don't feel like there's a lot of chemistry there, that's directing. That's a directing issue.
Exactly.
Because these are
especially when you're dealing with that level of actors.
Right. Yeah.
Like, we've seen all, other than the little girl, we've seen all of them in multiple roles just being amazing.
Right. But I mean, you gotta, children, you gotta kind of give a,
I think she was fine anyway. Like, I mean, she's not like gonna win any awards, but I thought she was fine. Like, I didn't at all feel like the little girl was a problem. Yeah, but there's so many things, dude, in it that just make no sense. Like, I didn't even realize this till after the fact, but that the couple never once kisses in the entire movie.
They don't show any real.
This is a married couple. The only time they even touch is when he puts his hand on her hand when they're in front of her work. That's it.
Well, hang on.
And I'm like, I don't care if they're supposed to be on the rocks. Like, every couple, it's just natural. When you're in a marriage or long-term relationship, you just touch each other. It's not even a matter of like showing affection. There's just this natural, like, you're so comfortable around this person, you just do it. There's times where you'll put your hand on their shoulder, and then there's certain situations in this movie where there's no way in hell a wife is not going to give her husband a hug or something of like, you know what I mean? Something enduring. Like, that's bad directing. Yeah. And that's the difference to me between this and Invisible Man, is because I don't agree with you on that. I'm not saying I think Invisible Man is like the greatest. Like, it's not my favorite movie he's done at all. And I'm not saying I don't talk about it the way a lot of people do. Like, I don't think it's amazing, but I do think it's considerably better than this one, because there are shocking moments in Invisible Man that you don't see coming and actually get you. Like the scene in the restaurant with the knife and all that. Like, there's really creative ideas. There's really creative ideas in it where there's not anything like that. There's very few really shocking scenes in this. And you're like, there's crazy body horror in this, and it's awesome. The body horror is really well done in this. Okay. But even that, the way it's done, it doesn't feel shocking, especially because there's not any big transformation scene. Like, I like the idea of having him slowly transform through the movie, right? But by doing that, you're also not having this like really impactful moment of a transformation either. And that's what I think it made it mid, is there was never anything in this that was really like you're left going, oh my God, I can't believe what I just saw. It's like sometimes it only takes one thing like that in a movie, for me anyway, to really be like, damn, that movie. Like Immaculate. The ending of Immaculate. Like the rest of the movie is okay. But the ending of Immaculate just made that movie memorable. And like I'll never forget it because that ending was so like fucking holy shit,
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm happy Invisible Man did that for you. It didn't do it for me. I cannot recall at all what the restaurant scene with the knife. So
I'm not
I
saying
don't know. I guess it just didn't.
I'm not saying it's amazing. I'm just saying like it had things like that, and it had impact on like more of a level than this is what I'm saying. Like I think this is his worst movie, and I don't even think it's that close.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing he's done is on the level of Upgrade. I mean, Upgrade was at this point was his like, what's it called? Opus or whatever, his
magnum opus.
Magnum opus. Thank you.
And what was that? You said Lee Winnell has a magnum opus?
Upgrade.
Am I losing you again? I'm sorry.
Upgrade,
folks.
Upgrade.
Upgrade is his magnum opus.
You haven't seen Upgrade?
I don't think so.
Holy shit, dude. Well, that's part of what's going on here too, because like when you've seen Upgrade, everything else he's done, especially when he did that on a tiny budget compared to like an Invisible Man or Wolfman. And so it's like when you see Upgrade, you're like, okay, I know that filmmaker is in there. You know what I mean? Like I know what he's capable of. And that's part of why I keep being disappointed, because like I think Invisible Man is a good movie, but I wasn't like floored by it, and so there was a little bit of disappointment with that one even.
Okay, I'll add this to my list.
It's so good, but it's more sci-fi horror. It's almost like a lot of people don't even think it's horror. Like it's really rooted in sci-fi, but there are some very horror elements, like body horror elements in it, that to me put it still into the horror, like it's one of those sci-fi horror movies to me. It's like very equal. Let's get to, is anybody out there seen? Oh, hold on. We have a question from Heather right here.
I already read that one.
Oh yeah. Oh, damn it. See, why isn't it scroll?
Clever Cleaver has one.
You click on them because it's not scrolling for me. Like I keep thinking that what I'm looking at are the most recent comments. All right. So what are your expectations for 28 years later? Do you think it will add a home run addition to the Rage virus, or does it have No, it's going to be, dude, it's going to be incredible. It's going to be talked about as one of the best movies this year. It'll be in my top 10. I fucking guarantee it, because of who's involved and like the way they did it, and the fact that it took them years of writing to get it right, and the fact that they brought back the entire team from the first movie. Like there's no doubt in my mind. Now, are the sequels to this going to be on that same level? That I don't know. But from seeing this trailer and knowing who's involved, this, 28 years later is going to be incredible. Did we lose you again? I think we lost DJ again. But yeah, I have no doubt that it's going to be like, and that's my opinion, but I think it's going to be incredible. So let me get caught up on some of these. So have any of you guys seen Wolfman, and what did you think? Try not to spoil anything, because I know a lot of people still haven't seen it. I think chat's messing up for you guys. Oh, there we go. All of a sudden, a bunch of, like we weren't seeing your comments weren't loading for some reason, but now the chat's back up. What's up, Mr. Wonderful? We've only been going for a little while. Like, we definitely doing this for a while. DJ might be gone though. His connection is having a lot of issues tonight, so it might just be me hanging out with you guys. Hopefully that's okay. Agree on upgrade. Great physical acting, as you mentioned. Yeah, like just such a good performance. And what's his name? Logan Marshall Green. He's so good. Like, he was great in that movie. He's great in The Invitation. Like, it's such an underrated, amazing movie as well. I'm gonna watch it tonight. What, Ralph? Upgrade? Hi, Mr. Wonderful. How are you? Good luck with your Redskins this weekend, Ralph. I know you're a big Redskin fan. I'm definitely pulling for them. I hate the Eagles. As a 49er fan, I just absolutely hate the Eagles. I'm all right. 28 days later was way better than World War Z. I think, for one, 28 days later is all practically done. There's no CGI in it, but it's so much more gritty and real feeling. Like, World War Z is just a popcorn movie. Like, to me, it's like, it's not a bad movie. It's fun. It's entertaining. It's lots of action and all that, but it doesn't feel real. It's not something that like hits you in the gut. It doesn't have that kind of impact. It's more of a fun summer blockbuster kind of thing. God, my angles are weird today. I can't get my laptop right. But, that's my opinion. No Wolfman. Oh, you're going to see Wolfman tonight? Like, don't go into it expecting a bad movie, because I'm telling you, Wolfman's not a bad movie. And I've had a number of people that heard everybody saying that, they were underwhelmed and took that to be like it's a bad movie. And then they come out and they're like, I don't know what's wrong with everybody. I thought it was good. It's like, no, most of us are saying that it's fine. It's not bad. It's entertaining. You're still going to have a good time with it. It's just, when you watch it, you'll come out going, God, that movie could have been a classic. Like, Wolfman had the potential to be just like a game changer. Like, it could have been so good because of the cast. It looks amazing. I mean, the special effects, the setting, like, it's all that is done so well. It just doesn't have that really strong thing that grabs you, the emotional connection, the like, you don't walk out of it going, oh my God, like not everybody connected with Nosferatu, but those of us that did, you came out of that film like you had an experience. You were just like, I can't believe what I just saw. That's insane, So I actually don't even need these, I guess. So what do you guys think of my new tattoo? I got the logo. Yeah. All the channel members get the little red eye logo. I got it actually tattooed. I mean, I made the logo, so. This chat sucks. I don't like StreamYard right now. I don't know what they're doing. I have a challenge to watch all your 10 best horror movies of the past 10 years. Hold on, I'm going to get closer to this so I can read these and all of that. Okay. I have a challenge to watch all your 10 best horror, or your 10 best movies of the past 10 years, plus the runner-ups. So far, I've reached Get Out. Taking a break today, though. Too much watching. That's awesome. Yeah, if you watch too much, I warn people about this all the time. Stuff will turn into like gray mush, and it'll stop having the same impact, and you'll like, it'll start running together, and they won't be as enjoyable. So that's why I used to watch like at least 20 movies a week, and that was happening. And so now I'm down to like 4 or 5, and as long as I watch like completely 4 or 5 movies every week, I can keep up with what I need to do for the channel. I'll skim through 20, 30 still. But as far as completely watching, I only completely watching a couple. So let's see. Next one can be a crossover 28 parsecs later. I don't know what they're going to call it because they're making 3. So it's going to be 28 years later, and there's going to be 2 other movies after this. So this is part 1 in a way. It's not going to I know they're not going to do part 1, part 2, part 3. It's not going to be like that. They'll each be a separate movie, but it's going to be a trilogy. They're already working on the second one. I've seen some pop-ups of Edgar's doing a werewolf movie. Is this true? Yeah, we just read just a little bit ago, 10 minutes ago, we were talking about the news story of Edgar's doing a movie called Werewolf. And it's spelled in the way it was originally spelled in the original lore, Germany and, the UK and all that. It was with the U. So it's going to be a period piece in the 1300s. Dude, it's going to be amazing. I can't wait for that. That's so exciting. And we only got to wait a little over a year. It's going to be Christmas it'll be 2 years from this past Christmas. So 2026, Christmas 2026 is when it's coming out. Upgrade had some of the best fight scenes of recent films. 100% agree. It's so good. Especially how well the movements make you believe the stem is controlling the main character. Yeah. Like I was saying a little bit ago, Logo Marshall Green is just so good in that movie. You might start a trend. The t-shirt, I'm getting the tat. I don't follow that exactly. There is a t-shirt with the logos on it, available on Ghost Pirate, the little store or whatever. I'm gonna make some new merch here soon, though. I just have to, I have these issues a lot with my wrist for the last few months. So working on the computer for extended period of time, designing anything, is very painful. And it takes a lot just to do the thumbnails for the videos. So, but it's been feeling better lately. I've been doing physical therapy stuff with it. It's been doing better. So the plan is within maybe the next week or so to design some new and spend some real time on some merch. I'll do hats, t-shirts, and sweatshirts, just new designs. Let's see. What movies are you looking for releasing soon? I did a whole video of my 15? My 15 most anticipated movies. It's on the channel right now. But I look forward to everything, man. But I'm really looking forward to this week. We have Presence, which with a C, Presence. I'm really looking forward to that. I think that's going to be a really unique. It's I think it's Soderbergh did it. Really looking forward to that. Definitely 28 years later, I think is going to be one of the best movies this year. But the thing is, I always know that the best movies we don't even know of yet. It's these little independent movies, these Shudder movies. Shudder has a new one coming out that looks amazing called Grafted. The trailer, I think that's going to be sick. So I'm really looking forward to that. I don't know, man. I think there's going to be every year, it just feels like we're getting better and better movies, and people don't realize because a lot of people only follow the mainstream, what's in theaters. But the last 3 years in my top 10 of the year, at least half of them have been Shudder originals, that are released with IFC. It's crazy. Or at least, half of my top 20. It's wild. The independent stuff that doesn't even get in theaters a lot of times since it'd be the best. Look at Speak No Evil was in my top 5 of 2022, and it never even went to a theater, at least not here. So that's why it's hard to know what is going to be the best. Question. What are your thoughts on Presence? First horror from Soderbergh looks really good. Yeah, that's funny. I didn't even read that. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I can't wait. I'm going to go see it tomorrow night. I already have my ticket for it. So I've stopped trying to get screeners and like early. It's such a pain in the ass, and you only get to see them maybe a week early sometimes. Like I'm not even doing individual reviews anymore. I'm just gonna do my list, and if it's good enough to recommend, it'll make one of the videos at some point. And then of course I'll always talk about them here on every Wednesday on the podcast. But yeah, I just doing individual reviews. It takes so much time, and YouTube doesn't really show. So they get like a quarter of the views of the other videos. And it's a lot to try to do that and get them out in time to where they're relevant. And, let's see. How does Train to Busan compare to 28 Days Later when it comes to top-notch zombie horror? Train to Busan is one of the best ever made. Like, Train to Busan is in my... 28 Days Later is not exactly a zombie movie. It's a virus movie. So it's more comparable to The Sadness, I think. But 20 Days Later is so good, but it's so much of what makes it good is the way it was made at the time it was made. It's one of those that if you watch it now for the first time, after seeing all these other movies that have been done since, it won't be, it's kind of like Blair Witch. If you've already seen a bunch of other found footage movies and you watch Blair Witch, you're like, there's not much that happens, whatever. If you're not seeing these movies in the context of when they were released at the time, like they're pioneers, they're groundbreaking. 28 Days Later was the beginning. It was one of the first to do that really fast, zombie type of characters, even though they're not technically zombies. So it's kind of a different thing, but it's super important and super good and all of that. But as far as pure zombie movies go, Train to Busan's top 10. Like to me, Train to Busan is up there with Day of the Dead and Dawn of the Dead. I mean, it's like right up there with the best there's ever been done, especially when you talk about the emotional aspects. Like Train to Busan, the emotional impact in that movie is incredible. What? You just know your name? Oh, because of the name. Exactly. And that's, it's like Eggers isn't, the comment is Eggers is an artist that is using cinema as his medium. And that's how I see it too. Like to me, I put him in a category with like, I'm trying to think who I would really compare him to. That's why I said Alfred Hitchcock, because, he's got that very much artist and cinema is his art form. Like this real painterly almost, and a real style to it, like a very specific style to the way Eggers makes movies. Yeah, I am too. I just don't know why we haven't got a trailer yet for Final Destination Bloodlines. I mean, like, they just doubled down and released like a teaser poster for it. And I'm like, I thought they were going to delay it because I hadn't heard any updates on it. But no, it's coming out in May. So, I mean, I'm just excited to have a new Final Destination movie. I just think it's odd that we haven't, got a trailer for it yet. Yeah, Henry, we talked about that the new Toxic Avenger is coming out later this year. Story at the beginning of the video or beginning of the live stream. Me and DJ talked about it, but yeah, it just got picked up, and which is amazing because it was going to be canned. Like they were going to write it off, like the whole thing that happened with Batgirl, but luckily it got picked up and now it's going to be distributed in theaters. So I am excited to see it. I've actually heard it's really good. So let's see. I know it's DJ, by the way. This is my channel. Yeah, Horror Sucks. If you guys don't know, Horror Sucks is DJ. Like that's his YouTube channel. Like he does these real short They're really good. His reviews are really good. Like if you haven't subscribed to his channel, you definitely should. But like he reviews movies, but they're nice and short and compact, but he, really gets to the point, and he's very opinionated. You might not agree with his opinions, but like his review of The Damned was really impressive. Like I didn't 100% agree with some of the things he said in his review. Like I never 100% agree with DJ, but it's still really, really well done. So I do recommend going and watching that for sure. Not just because he's half of this podcast, but because it's genuinely a good channel. So, and he never plugs it. I don't know why he doesn't plug it. The Damned was really good. I really liked The Damned. The ending didn't quite hit as hard as I wish it could have. They do one little thing at the very, very end that I felt like held it back a little, but it's such a good looking movie, well acted. It's creepy as all hell. Like just, it feels ice cold. It's really worth seeing. Yeah, the raid is Indonesian. I don't know. I must have missed that. Let's see. Question. Yeah, try to begin any questions you have. Try to begin them with questions. It's easier for me to see them and make sure I get to them. Let's see. Question. What do you think of them making a movie from the Grimm TV show? I didn't know about that. That's interesting. I don't know. I don't know why. I tried to watch Grimm. I've watched like number of episodes, but like I never really got hooked into that show, and I don't exactly know why. I think mostly it's because I'm just not a big fan of network TV. Like anything on network TV, it just feels neutered. It feels like, they can't show real gore. They can't, everything feels like they have to be a little bit careful. Like very rarely is there a network TV show that really hooks me in. Like the Hannibal series was the best one in, the last maybe decade to me from network TV that really got me. I love the Supernatural TV series, even though it is neutered like I'm talking about, but because I grew up with that show, I love the characters and all that. But like if it were a brand new show that came out today, same with X-Files, I don't think it would grab me because I would want that HBO, that Showtime, like that gritty, bloody, whatever, that grittiness that cable series have now. It's like I'm kind of spoiled now with streaming series and cable series. So let's see. I got a t-shirt already, was saying as much as people like you, they'll start getting that tattoo. When I was in music, I had people there was like this artist that drew a cartoon of my band, like all of us. And it was really badass looking, but I had people getting that tattooed. I had people getting my face tattooed. Like, I don't know. At least this is not a picture of me. I would much rather people get the logo tattooed than like a picture of me, but like, I don't care. I mean, it's your body. You do what you want, but like, yeah, I don't have a problem with people getting it. I just, as far as I know, I'm the first one to get it, and it's takes up most of my hand, and it's, it's because of it being my second eye. So, nobody can call me a one-eyed bastard anymore. I'm like, really? One-eyed bastard, huh? Nah, I got two eyes, and one is just hella big. Let's see. There you are. We can't hear you though. Or hold on, yeah, we can. I can't because my headphones turned off. Hold on. Post a link to your Horror Sucks YouTube channel, man. I was plugging the shit out of it. But like, I'm stupid when it comes to these things. I don't know how to get the link to post. Let's see. Quick part 3. Is it okay to feel suspect about presence? Have you seen the trailer for the Dead Thing? Where the hell is DJ? Why am I still not hearing you?
Well, you muted me and I had to unmute myself.
Oh, hold on. No, you're there. It's my stupid headphones. They are not connected to the computer. Hold on. Like I just heard you through the computer speakers.
Can you chat? You guys can't hear me?
Hello? Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. All right.
It was my headphones. Hold on. We need to go back to that question. Where'd it go? The 3-part question.
Oh, sorry. Give me a second.
Well, one of the parts is DJ's here, so that's where DJ's at now. But I think Presence looks incredible. I think it's going to be amazing. And Dead Things, I haven't seen the trailer, but I have heard that that's going to be a movie that that's a really good movie. I know a number of people that have seen it and say it's really, really good. So, but I think Presence is going to be one of those movies that a lot of people are going to be like, it's boring. It's very artsy and it's just, ooh, nothing happens, like that kind of thing. But I think for people like me that love and appreciate the artsy, slow burn stuff like that, I think people like me will dig it. DJ is gone again.
What?
Oh, there you are. You froze for a minute or for a second. That's why I was just kind of rambling because I was like, is he going to come back?
My God, I'm sorry, everybody. It's right. Super unprofessional. I know. I'm sorry.
No, it happens. We're going to get it sorted, though. We had some ideas of how we can get backup situations and things like that. So it'll happen.
Well, it's just
but it's part of why if you guys help throw money our way, it helps support the channel and things like that, like getting better microphones or, getting some DJ an actual background one of these days.
Yeah. I need an actual background and a light. I need some lighting.
All right.
No, it's just my internet situation is weird. I have to run my computer off of a Wi-Fi extender, and sometimes my Wi-Fi card wants to jump on the main gateway that is like just outside of the that's just outside of the range. And so, but it wants to live on the gateway instead of the extender. So I have to constantly just keep pointing it to the extender until it gives up and just stays on it. And that's what I had to do. And don't ask me for any details, but that's why that's what I have to do for my internet for now.
I think most people probably just had no idea.
Why don't you just hardwire in? I can't. If I would, I absolutely would. Or if I could, I would.
But to this Big Rod, yes, I was a vocalist in a couple bands. The one I was mostly known for was called Mahala. If you look for you could find a few things online still, music of us, but it was Mahalah.
Is that any relation, or is that any relation to the what is it, the Hawaiian word or whatever?
No, that's Mahalo. It's actually Israeli it means like the sickness, basically, like an illness, like
sick
disease. And then I was in another band called Graven Image, and that's like there's still a music video that we did on YouTube somewhere. If you look up Graven Image, Hands Around Your Neck, you can see a video of me from like 20 years ago.
Hell yeah, I'm gonna do that.
That was my first art form. All right,
I was in a band.
Another question. Yeah, that's one of the things me and DJ first connected over is we both have a big, not just for horror movies, but a big love for metal. So that's why you'll see when you see DJ's movie.
Am I gone again?
The Hellgate. You're frozen, but we can hear you. But when you see DJ's movie, The Hellgate, you'll see a big through line of metal music in it. It's fucking awesome. And titties. Let's see. We got a question here. What are your feelings on the Return of the Living Dead remake teaser and the behind the scenes the studio just put out showing how they made the version of Tarman? I haven't seen that yet, the behind the scenes thing, but I did talk and play some of the trailer or the teaser trailer in my video. For those wanting to know my thoughts on upcoming movies, I did a video of my 15 most anticipated horror movies coming this year. So definitely check that out. But I'm excited about it, but I'm very hesitant because like a lot of remakes, they suck. And I've heard that the people involved in this, the things that they've made before are kind of trash. but they're releasing the Christmas Day, so I'm still going to be hopeful. You know what I mean? I'm still going to be hopeful that it ends up being great. Hey, Leslie, you're stuck in Atlanta? No, she was just in Arizona on like for a work convention thing and is trying to get back to Florida. That sucks. You're stuck. Dude, the weather's horrible everywhere. You should have just stayed in Arizona. Like the West Coast is the only place where the weather's not all awful. Let's see. Question. Fuck, marry, kill. Tales from the Crypt, X-Files, The Twilight Zone. I would marry X-Files. I would fuck Tales from the Crypt. And I would... No, I can't kill The Twilight Zone. Damn it. Where do I don't know which one I'd kill. I can't kill X-Files or Twilight Zone, but the only one I would want to fuck is Tales from the Crypt, because there was a lot of sex and titties and stuff in Tales from the Crypt. It was much more sexy than the other two. No, okay. I will fuck X-Files, marry Twilight Zone, and as much as it pains me, I will kill Tales from the Crypt. Yeah, because I feel like Twilight Zone has there's a much more long-term commitment I feel like you could have to the Twilight Zone. And I mean, Gillian Anderson was on X-Files, so, you know, the fuck part, that's kind of a given. I just hate that I have to kill Tales from the Crypt, but you didn't give me the other option. I got to kill one of them, so yeah. Looking for questions. Kanan, let's see. Kanan always had great stage presence as the frontman. Big Rod, you've seen me play? You saw one of my bands? That's awesome. Kanan is your prior band found on Metal Archives. I don't know. But I'll type in the spelling of the bands right now. Hold on. Mahlh. Man, this chat thing is a pain in the ass. Why is it not sending? Oh, there we go. Okay. And then the other one is Graven Image. So Mahala and Graven Image. And if you search, there is things available. Like Mahala, there is a live performance from the California Ballroom in Modesto that someone uploaded not too long ago. And it's like a full set of us playing. That wasn't when we were at our very best, but it was still a little early on there. We were still good, though. A lot of the songs. Anyway, so I know there's stuff available, music, especially for Mahala. Like there's like recordings, I think on Iuma or something like that. There's a couple websites that have like 7 or 8 songs of Mahala. And then for Graven Image, there's places where there's like a couple songs, like 1 or 2 or 3. But unfortunately, I mean, these are bands that was like, 20 years ago, exactly 20 years ago. This year that I did my music video with Graven Image, and we broke up in like 2008. So it's been like almost 20 years since I was even in a band now. All right, let's see. Looking for questions. Here we go. From Ralph. When's Hellgate drop? Hey, look, there's DJ again.
Yeah,
no
I'll
sound.
be here for another.
Oh, there you are.
2 minutes.
There is sound.
2 minutes, maybe. I'll be here for 2 minutes, and then I'll just get.
So you can answer this question then, since you're back.
God damn it! What question?
The one that's on the screen.
Oh, when is Hellgate drop? Yeah, boobs. I'm hoping this year.
Yeah, 4 boobs actually.
What?
There's 4 boobs.
Yeah.
Two different girls.
Oh, yeah.
Each have 2 boobs equals 4 boobs.
Yes. Yes. Technically speaking. I'm hoping this year. I'm about to take the movie to my director of photography's house so that we can watch it and write down any notes. And if we don't have anything that is like immediately glaring, we will have picture lock, and then it will get sent off to sound design, scoring, and color grading. And then after that, we have to shop for distribution. And then however long that lasts, they need to determine, when they're going to drop it, because it has to go through E&O, it has to go through quality control, it has to go through all this crap. And then they have to develop a release schedule. And so I am hoping, with my fingers crossed, that it is released by Halloween this year.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping for.
And you need to let me know in advance, because I want to be at the premiere. So I'm guessing it'll be out there. So I need to fly out there. So
yeah. It will be there.
But yeah, you guys will enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. Like it's if you enjoy, indie, like micro indie stuff, like it's a better made one. It's not like, these shit on Tubi that are micro. Like it's one of the better made micro movies. It's very fun.
Can play the sizzle reel if you want while we're here.
Yeah. You have the rights to it.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's definitely not getting taken down.
I'm so tired of getting these notifications after our podcast. Like, this can't be monetized in the United States. And then I got to go in and figure out what needs to be cut out.
All right, let me, I am
poor Leslie. Right, poor Leslie is stuck in Georgia right now.
Oh, that sucks. We got a super chat. Go ahead and read that.
Thank you for all the recommendations. Mads and Oddity especially. Fucking love both those movies. Since I would have skipped Oddity because I didn't like Caveat, but I loved Oddity. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those interesting things where I feel like if you enjoyed Caveat, you'll definitely like Oddity. But it doesn't mean that if you enjoyed Oddity, you'll definitely enjoy Caveat. Because, like, Caveat is his first film, and it's more rough around the edges. It has its problems here and there. But, like, for me, you could still see through the roughness, and the story and the characters and the weirdness of it and all that was still there. But Oddity is a much more, like, better budget. Like, you could tell he's a maturing filmmaker, so it's a better made movie. But I still love Caveat, and I think, like I said, if you love Caveat or you loved Oddity, then it's definitely worth giving Caveat a shot, but it's not a guarantee you're going to like it. What do you think? Have you seen Caveat?
I have not seen Caveat, but I really liked Oddity. I thought it was very good.
I feel like you'll see Caveat. You'll probably be less stoked on it, but you'll see what I'm talking about, where there's a cool idea there and it's very unique. It just rough around the edges. All the characters and writing and things like that are not as tight as Oddity.
All right, so here's a sizzle reel for the Hellgate. This is not a trailer. So for those of you who want to know what the difference between a sizzle reel and a trailer is going to have a little more plot, a little more story, a little more intrigue to it. A sizzle reel is just to get you excited for the film.
It's more like a teaser. Like most of the time there's release is called a teaser.
Yeah, you're not going to see anything, and it's
like
it's something
the way to get like images and kind of get a visual feel for it, and maybe a little bit of the stylisticness, but not plot points, not anything that really tells you the story.
Yeah, so here we go.
Oh no, you're freezing. So when you guys see this with a better connection, the music syncs up better with it, like because of the connection. That's why the audio at times didn't quite sync up with it. Just so you guys know.
So there you go.
Some of the visuals froze a little bit here and there, but yeah. See, told you guys it's going to be fun. Like it's cool, man.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of character to it.
So yeah. Thank you, chat. Thank you. You guys are very complimentive. Thank you. Yes,
Dude,
Leslie, you had a good
what is
screen
going on?
moment.
It commented the names of my bands like over and over and over. This is stupid.
It's probably lag.
Chat, dude. I don't know what the deal is.
Thank you. Yeah, all practical effects. There's no CG, there's nothing like that. It's all practical. I spent a lot of money on my special effects budget. So that's what you're seeing. That's where all
I
the
can
budget
attest
went.
to it because I saw some of it in person. So
he did.
There's so much of it that's cool that didn't even need effects done because DJ did what so many filmmakers are too lazy to do nowadays. And he actually found cool locations where you can actually, like the graveyard scene, instead of like a lot of filmmakers now will do something like that and they'll do day for night and they'll fake shit. No, DJ got permission to be in an actual fucking graveyard, and being there at night, it was actually creepy. And so the shots really felt like it didn't even, it translates on camera too, but there's a difference. You can make indie films, but you got to be patient and you got to sometimes hit the pavement and ask people. And I was blown away. I was like, I can't even believe you got permission for this shit. And neighbors were throwing a fit, but he had the city's permission, so they couldn't do
we got the cops called on us, but we had a permit. So they were like, all right, cool, have fun, and drove away. It was great.
But you know what I mean? There's so many filmmakers that are just too afraid to do things like that. They just assume people will tell them no, or too much of a hassle, or, but I'm telling you, little things like that can make a huge difference, especially when you're working on a tiny budget.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's definitely a passion project, labor of love, but I think we can make some money off of it. I think it's going to be good. The good news is I have distribution companies already interested in putting it out when it's done. So, that gives me confidence, but we'll see. So October, I am crossing my fingers for October of this year that the Hellgate will be officially released. But yeah, we're gonna have a premiere here in Jacksonville that you're obviously invited to. So it's gonna happen. So yeah,
I definitely got to be there because I got to meet I think everybody, right? I'm pretty sure
you met
everybody involved in the movie. I got to spend 3 days with you guys, 2 days, 2 or 3 days,
2 or 3 days, something like that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there were a couple locations I didn't get to see in person, but I was able to see the cave element scenes and the graveyard scenes, and then the house. Or one of the houses, because there was
one of the houses. There was 2, I think. Yeah,
but I didn't get to see the bar, which I really want to go and have drinks at that bar. It's got so much character. It's super.
It does. Cool. It has a lot of character, but it's
Leslie saw at least one location. Yeah, that's right. Leslie, you went to the graveyard too, so you saw both those.
Yeah.
Leslie, you'll definitely be.
Yeah, there. Leslie's in Florida, so yeah, you're a hop, skip, and a jump.
Yeah, but I'm saying we'll be there together. It's gonna happen. Maybe I'll come out there this year, and you can actually take some time off this year, and we'll go to Halloween Horror Nights again or something. Especially if you do it around Halloween, that'd be cool. We could all go to Halloween Horror Nights together. Or Spooky Empire. Did you end up going to Spooky Empire, DJ? Oh. Yep, we lost DJ again. Yeah, distribution's the part that's really tough. I have quite a few friends who make small indie movies, and it's easy to get screwed over, especially when you're making them really small ones. One of my friends, he had to go and sue the distributor, and it's a whole long story, but it was a nightmare. They basically stole all the money and tried to act like they didn't make any money from the movie. And luckily he got some money back, but not anywhere near what it ended up he ended up losing quite a bit. It's just, you can get screwed over so bad by distribution when you're small, because you don't have lawyers and representatives and all these things to find you, all this shit, and people will blow smoke your ass. It's the same way as when you're an independent artist of any kind, musician. I've been screwed over. or with my visual art. Like so many people that'll be like, want to license one of your paintings to make prints and shit. And like, you never see a dime from it. It's like, sell your shirts in China. Like, yeah. See, I'm an old guy, so I always appreciate practical effects. Not just old people, man. I think everybody appreciates practical effects when they're done right. Screaming Mad George, yep. Tom Savini, like those are the masters. That's part of why Terrifier 3 was so incredible. A lot of the practical effects is like because Tom Savini was involved in that, But there's so many new filmmakers like in the independent world that are only doing practical, and when they're doing CGI, like even Edgar's, most of the effects were practical, or even the Wolfman. I mean, as much as like there's issues with it, it's still, there's still some awesome stuff in it, and the fact that everything is practically done, like all the transformation stuff in Wolfman is practically done, and you may not be your favorite style of what he does with it, but it's still cool to see that stuff practically done. Like I think everybody should still go see Wolfman. I think you just need to have lowered expectations and just go in looking to be entertained, and I think you'll still enjoy it because it's not at all a bad movie. It just doesn't hit as hard as it could have. See, hey man, just stumbled across the channel earlier today. Well, welcome aboard, bro. I already watched like 8 or 10 videos of yours. Got a new sub for sure. I appreciate your open view on the genre. Thanks, man. I welcome you with open arms to this community. We love horror, all different types of horror here. There is no horror that is not welcomed here. Let's see. Practical effects doesn't age a film. Exactly. And that's why the best movies now are where that's predominantly practically done and they use CGI to kind of smooth out the edges. Like Jurassic Park still holds up to this day, even though there's quite a bit of CGI in it, because the way Steven Spielberg used the CGI even back then was to make the practical even better, and just like make it, blend out edges, like things like that. There's so much you could do with digital effects that you'll never notice when it's done right. It's like, I'm not against digital effects at all. It's just, I'm against, when it's all CGI, like CGI monsters, CGI suits, CGI locations. That's why I have a practical effect behind me, even though I can't get a good angle today for whatever reason. But that's why I have all this real stuff behind me. And like, there's a lot of channels that'll have fucking green screens. I'm like, no, fuck that. Like everything you see behind me, like that's all real shit. So, hey, welcome back.
Yeah, I don't.
So we're right here.
It's embarrassing.
When CGI is treated as gravy and practical is the meat and potatoes. Exactly. Yes. That's exactly what I'm saying.
That is how CGI should be treated.
Yep. But also, you got to have the money. Like, that is something that also drives me crazy. Is people that will fucking get cheap CGI. It's like, don't even put it there if it's going to look shoddy and like it'll make your movie age like fucking milk within like no time at all.
Like
so it's like
a couple
just
years,
don't even do it. Yeah, just don't even do it. Like there are always practical ways you can do things, no matter how much money you have. You just have to be creative and imaginative and what's the word? Ingenuitive. I don't know. I'm not saying it right.
You have to have ingenuity. I don't know what what
you're
trying to say.
Yep. And it's as an artist, it's not just a filmmaker, because when I did visual medium art, and I plan to start doing visual medium art again here real soon, but when I did that, I was always surrounded by these artists that would have these great ideas. They were always like, well, I need $1,000 to be able to buy so-and-so thing, or I don't have scaffolding, so I can't do it, or I don't have this paint, blah, blah, blah. And I was always like, there's never a time where I can't do something, because I look first at what I have. I don't create an idea before I have the shit. Instead, I am like, I have this shit. I'm going to create an idea in that world. So like for years, all I had was whatever I could find free at the dump. And I made all kinds of art, and I made money from that art. you know? There was never a time when I felt held back because I was always creating in that world. And so like, if you're going to make a movie, instead of coming up with this grand idea and then be like, well, how am I going to come up with that money? How am I going to make this happen? I think that's a backwards way of doing it. Instead, you're like, I'm going to make an independent movie. I'm going to make it in this world, in this, you know, like with these things. And so you create this world around what you have available and be creative with the things you have available instead of like this limitless idea. It's like what we saw with fucking that movie this year. He's like one of the greatest filmmakers ever. The guy that did The Godfather. And then he made this movie this year and it was like god awful because he didn't have the budget to fully finish it. He like, it's disjointed. It's like, instead of him, working with what he had and have an idea that is in this world, which he has tons of resources, he could have made an incredible movie, but instead he made this fucking insane movie before he even had any of the stuff to do it. And it just, it shows it's a mess.
Yeah.
And it's too bad because there are a lot of really cool ideas. There's some really amazing practical effects, some really amazing CGI in it, like some really amazing ideas in it. But it's because like he made it over this long period of time and it was like he ran out of money and so then they had to stop. And then when he got money again, they started up and it's like you could feel it. Everything about it, you could feel that.
Yeah. Prop Dude has a question. What are some of your favorite horror movies for audio, like rear channel use for extra creep factor? I don't know. I tend to get lost or not get lost. I tend to, if the audio is good, you don't notice it. And that's why, that's what makes the audio good. And so I'm also not trying to notice the audio as much. I'm trying to remember the last.
Cause like Nosferatu had an incredible like audio. It was incredible, but I can't remember exactly any of that audio. You know what I mean? It's like, but every scene, like even they would use when it was silent and then there would be like breathing sounds or like the way they made Count Orlok, the way he sounded, like he had this weird, sound to his voice and, it was very amplified. And like when a movie is done right audio, it's like the environment. You know what I mean? The audio is like becomes the environment and you feel it more than you think about it.
Yeah.
And at least for me, that's how, but I mean, there's movies where the audio is a huge thing, like, but it's more of a soundtrack. So that's different. If you're asking like, what's your favorite movie soundtrack? That's different. Cause it's like the movie, The Crow, where there's actual songs and it's, but the score to a movie is very different.
Okay. Prop Dude says, I'm going.
Yeah,
again.
Mads had a really good audio too. I can hear you. You're choppy, but
I thought I was gone again.
Yeah, you're choppy, but you're still here.
I'm sorry, everybody. I need to go.
See, A Quiet Place. Yeah. See, A Quiet Place is a perfect example because the way they use literally silence in that movie is part of the score. And it's like so powerful when there are sounds, you know what I mean? And the types of sounds and like, but you can't remember, like I can't remember a certain part of the movie that sounded a certain way. The Substance had a really, really good, they're saying that the score will actually probably get an Academy Award nomination from that movie. Like, but yet you don't think about it. But if you watch it and think about it, like I've done that, then you're just like, damn, dude, like it's so much of the environment and the feeling, like these weird little squeaky sounds and like all these different,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm rambling.
Yeah, well, it's because I can't add to the conversation at all because it's up in the air of whether or not I'm going to be here or not. So I'm trying.
That's why I'm rambling because I keep being like, I don't know if he's here.
I know. Do you want to call it a night? I mean, it's my fucking internet's just kind of killed this whole show, and I apologize.
Yeah, we'll answer a couple other questions. If you guys have any last minute questions, we'll answer a couple more questions. So like maybe 5 more minutes. and then we'll call it.
Yeah, that's fine. I hope I stay on for that long.
Yeah. Well, one of us at least will answer it. So in the next 5 minutes, whatever questions you guys have, type question first so we don't miss them. See, I can't stand over use of audio or bad audio. I agree. That's why I think it's such a fine balance. Like when it's done right, you won't even notice it. I mean, you do notice it, but like you won't like, unless you're really focusing on it, you'll come out of the movie going, not, and it won't be something. And that's why it's always hard for me to talk about in reviews, because I'm like, I remember it felt cool, but I don't remember exactly what was, you know. Yeah, Big Rod, I agree. I wish that we had more movies with soundtracks like we used to, especially like in the 90s and early 2000s. Like, it's not like I think everything needs to have a soundtrack, but it would be nice to have some movies, you know, like it's not, I think it's kind of like not in style at the moment to have, you know, in a lot of movies to have like an actual soundtrack. Yeah, prop dude, exactly. Exactly what I'm talking about. Like quiet scenes, then whisper behind you in the corner. I live for that. Exactly. Like the best scares are the ones that are built up with audio.
Right.
Cues.
Well, because it's not the boo, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not what scares you. It's the build up to boo. It's that's actually, that is a quote or summarized quote of Hitchcock.
Yep. Oddity. That movie.
Yeah, Oddity has some good ones.
The way the audio was used, because like that's the scariest scene in it. The one that actually got me, that made me so impressed with that movie, because that just doesn't happen. Like things don't even startle me anymore. I just watch so many movies, but that one scene, I won't say what it is because I don't want to spoil it. I still want more people to see that movie, but the one scene, if you've seen it, you know, the way the audio is built up, like there's silence, then there's like little tension sounds, like it is just this crescendo, but it is off timed. So you don't expect a hit when there is a hit, you know, and that's why it doesn't end up being just like a cat jumping out of a cupboard thing, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, Hitchcock has that super famous interview, whatever, where he's talking about how to do a jump scare, like, and how to build tension and things like that. Question: what do you prefer, score or soundtrack?
I like a little bit of both.
Yeah, because it just feels like it depends on the movie, like the style of the movie. Like the audio is such a huge part of what makes the style of a movie. Because like you can't picture The Crow without a soundtrack.
Right. The original Crow.
Yeah, it would just completely change the style. Yeah. Like it would be a totally different movie if it, you know, or like, but like Batman, can you imagine like really any of the Batmans, if especially like the Michael Keaton ones, if those had soundtracks? No. It'd be a totally different movie. Like the score, the crescendo, or like Star Wars with a soundtrack would be ruined. It would be totally different.
Yeah, true.
But yet it's, you know, like it's like I love both. Like Last Action Hero, one of my favorite like comfort food action kid kind of movies when I was young. Like early 90s movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger, like the soundtrack with Megadeth and Metallica, or no, I don't know if it had Metallica, but Pantera, and like that was such a huge part of what made that movie awesome.
Yeah.
So a question for you.
Oh, it says, DJ, your movie looks great. Do you plan on building on it with a sequel? No. I don't plan on making a sequel. I don't think the way that it ends, I don't think it lends itself to a sequel. But you know, anything can happen, I guess. I'm already in pre-production on the next
for
movie,
another movie.
Yeah. So if the Hellgate 2 comes out, it won't be for another couple years. But again, like, you know,
when you're early on in filmmaking, it's like it's more important to just keep making stuff, and then it's like,
right,
like that's what happened with Terrifier. It wasn't like he planned on making 3 Terrifiers,
right?
You know, it's just it became a thing, and so he's like, well, fuck. He's like, I'm gonna keep doing this.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't like he didn't like the character or whatever. It's just more like always on to the next thing. You're just like, you just want to keep working.
Right.
So let's see. Question: I missed the beginning of the stream. So is it confirmed we are actually getting the Toxic Avenger? Because I kept hearing it was scrapped. You want to go ahead and
confirmed.
Answer that? Yeah. We talked at length about it. But yeah, it should come out later this year. And it says theatrical release. So I think it's exciting because that's what everybody expected it to get literally like deleted, like the Batgirl treatment. That's what everybody was hearing. So the fact that it got picked up and bought is awesome. Because even if it's not a good movie, I don't fucking care. I hate the idea of a movie getting deleted. Like even if it's not a good movie, it's like, what are you saying?
I don't know. I think it makes sense financially for them to delete Batgirl. I think it would have made financial sense for them to delete a lot of the upcoming, especially Marvel movies. Captain Falcon America is going to be the biggest flop of 2025. Yep.
Well, no, I don't think it will be, but it is going to be a huge flop. But
they reshot that movie 3 times.
I know, but what's it called?
This movie needs to make $1 billion to make its money back.
I know, but there's another one.
The new one that's coming out that nobody's going to watch.
What, the other Marvel one?
Yeah. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. I don't think that'll make great either. No, what is it? There's a movie. I'm trying to remember what it is. It's like one of the big, blockbuster movies. And I'm like, dude, that movie's going to lose so much money.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it is. But either way, I agree. I think it's going to lose its ass. Both the next 2 Marvel are just going to because they have to make so much money.
Yeah.
It's Captain Falcon it's a model America that's not going to work anymore.
And Thunderbolt, that's the one that I was talking about.
It's just it's a losing business model. Like Disney needs to stop doing it.
Writing,
because even if they're amazing movies, but even if they're good, it's so hard. No, but I'm saying even if they're good, it is still like having to make $1 billion when you're starting the movie. That's the thing. You don't know if it's going to be good. All these movies, when they're, in the beginning stages, they think it's going to be good. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a bad business model to start out like this movie, no matter how it turns out, is going to have to make $1 billion. That's just stupid.
Yeah.
It's, it's so much smarter to make a bunch of, I'm not saying do the Blumhouse model where you're only going to spend $1 million, but what A24 is doing now is brilliant. They'll put $30 million into a movie, but they're also going to have a bunch of $1 million movies going at the same time.
Right. But to answer the question, it's I think what makes Toxic Avenger good is different than what makes other quality movies, than what makes Nosferatu good. You know what I mean? If Toxic Avenger has these 3 things, it's going to be good. You know what I mean? And
I'm just saying, I'm not
necessarily track with every other movie.
What I'm saying though is I don't care if a movie is bad or not. I just don't like the idea of deleting it because there's still people involved. There's still artists involved. There's still maybe a movie's bad, right? But the sound design, the guy that did the sound design, it's still good. And all his work and everything just gets fucking deleted. It doesn't feel right to me. I'm never a fan of deleting art, unless if the artist wants to delete it, that's one thing.
I don't know if I would call Batgirl art. I don't know if I would.
We didn't see it.
Art.
Nobody saw it. From what we have heard, it was actually pretty good, entertaining wise. Dude, I bet you anything, Brendan Fraser alone made that movie entertaining.
I'm sure he was entertaining in it.
Have you seen the pictures of him with the fucking flamethrower stuff? Dude, I wanted to see that. I'm not saying it would have been good, but dude, we got Flash. Okay.
I know.
So it's
I know. I know. And we're getting not going to delete. Have you seen that?
Exactly. I'm you're not. Oh yeah, it looks so bad. I'm not interested in that at all.
I felt secondhand embarrassment for them watching that trailer. I was like,
you know what? Here's the thing. It'll still make 30, 40 million opening weekend, but because it has to make so much fucking money, it will. It's just look at, a lot of the DC stuff too. It's they still make if it was any other movie, they would be fine. But because they start out having to make $1 billion, it's just not possible.
Yeah. A24 and Neon have both been knocking it out of the park. They feel like Paramount and New Line from back in the 80s, mid-budget. Yeah. That's what they're doing. And Shudder with their originals. They're really no,
it's not that one. You know what? It's funny. I actually think though Thunderbolts looks like if I had to watch one of the two, I think I would still choose Thunderbolts.
Between Thunderbolts and Captain Falcon America?
Because that Captain America, it looks like literally I've already seen that movie. Like it literally looks like it's not doing anything new at all. And that Red Hulk is just absolutely atrocious.
Well, yeah, and Red Hulk was dumb in the comics too. And Falcon is already a cool. I don't mean to get Leslie worked up, but I know this is going to work up Leslie. This is not only did it not make sense story-wise for Steve Rogers to pass the shield onto the Falcon and not Bucky, but it's just another one of those kind of hand-me-down heroes. Huh? No, hell no.
Series is actually really good. It was really good.
You need to do better,
Senator. And it made sense why
he defended terrorists.
Because it wasn't passed to Bucky. It was Bucky chose. By the end of it, he chooses for, it's a really good series.
Because the writers wrote it
change. Like it's a really good series, but it doesn't change to me.
Here's what I'm trying to say.
Anything about still making him Captain America. I still just don't think it works. I agree with the hand-me-down thing.
Yeah, it's what I'm trying to say is not only does it not make sense story-wise, I don't care what that dumbfuck TV show said, because that's what the writers were trying to cope about it. What it doesn't make sense because this is another hero that they just plugged a black guy into because they didn't want to tell an original black hero story. Yeah. They wanted to give Captain America to an already cool hero. Falcon is already a cool hero.
Yep.
You can have.
I know. That's what I don't understand. Why name him? Like, why make him Captain America? He could still literally do everything that he's doing, and just still be him,
and still be Falcon, and be an original character, and be cool. And you don't need to give him
become one of the leaders, and still become for the next Avengers. He could still be that older character that leads the next generation.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I would say
the series was really good because he is a good character. The part that isn't good is literally the very, very end when he takes on being Captain America. It's like, why? Because that whole series, he's still him. It's not like he's Captain America through the whole series. Like that's something that literally kind of happens at the very end, and there's reasons why or whatever. But both those characters are great. That's the other thing. You waste Bucky by putting him into this stupid Thunderbolts thing.
Right.
Like he's a great character. And that series developed both of their characters so much. And it's like, these characters are amazing. If you're going to you build them up in this series, right? And then you don't make a movie about either of them for fucking 3 years.
Yeah.
Or no, 4. No, hold on. It's like 5 years now, right? That series came out in 2020.
I like this prop, dude. They took On Your Left too far left. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I like
that's exactly what Disney has done to Marvel. They went and did the same, what I call Disneyfying shit, where they force everything. They have a quota. They're like, they go down a list. Like, we got to have one trans person, one gay person, one lesbian, one woman, strong character, action figure, whatever. We got to have one black guy, one Chinese. You know what I mean? Like that's, everything feels that way. It doesn't feel at all like they put people in there because they are a good character. And I am all for having all those things in your stuff, but not
just make a good movie. Just make a good movie with it. Like, why do you have to plug him in?
If you want to have a Hispanic character, okay, so go and find a good story, a good character, and put that character and make something about that character.
It's almost
they take this basic ass story and say, oh, we got to have this quota. We're just going to shove that person into that slot.
It's cutting your nose off to spite your face is what it is, because you have all of these check boxes, like you said, but then they put them all in these shit movies. So it's almost like they don't like.
No, it actually hurts it. Instead of it helping equality, it hurts it.
It hurts it because people are like, oh, here's a gay black lesbian, or sorry, I but I repeat myself. Here's a black lesbian in this movie. People are already going to think it's bad because of what you've done. They're not going to be able to go into that movie looking at this character
because now Disney has gotten that, like Marvel and Disney now have this, like, that's that cloud where we see something coming out from them and we just assume, like, if in the trailer you see an Asian guy or whatever, you're just like, it's just going to be an Asian dude, just not going to be good. It's just going to be shoved in, like, at least with what's his name. There was at least a story that it was Asian cultured and like, it felt like he was a, and then they've done nothing with that. Shang-Chi, you know what I mean? Like, at least like that was, or Black Panther, that's how you do it. Like Black Panther or Shang-Chi, where you have you bring in an Asian story or an African story that character should be, because that's literally what they are, right? Instead of shoving these bullshit characters into these slots.
Well, and it's blatant racism. I mean, look at what they did to Iron Fist. Like, Iron Fist is supposed to be a white guy. He's supposed to be a misfit. He's not supposed to fit within the
Iron Fist was a white guy in the series, right?
For season 1, but then they were like, no, only Asian people know karate. So Iron Fist has to be an Asian.
That whole series. It was always that curly-haired white guy.
Season 1. And I think halfway through season 2.
Oh,
but they changed the Iron Fist. He relinquished his power to an Asian person. And so it's, and that is racism. Only Chinese people know karate. Only Asian people know martial arts.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange can't be the Sorcerer Supreme because it has to be somebody who's Tibetan. So now we have to make Wong. Now we have to make Wong the
instead of going and finding interesting stories.
Yeah, it's just on the face racism.
Instead, like, you make a remake of Snow White and put, whatever. I don't know what she is nationality wise, but like, instead of making a new story with this, African American girl or Asian girl, whatever, they're just like, no, we're just going to remake Snow White and use that IP. And so that we look politically correct, we're going to just put this actor in there
and not use little people for the dwarves.
Yeah, no, like, that is so insane. I've seen so many people blaming Peter Dinklage. I'm like, you can't blame Peter Dinklage.
Why?
He's the one that said his opinion
about it. No, he's the one that raised such a
it's not his. He doesn't run Disney.
No, I know
that's my issue. I'm not saying I agree with Peter Dinklage, right? But like, he's allowed to have an opinion, and just because he says something, so what? Like, Disney has no balls. They just simply, this looks like it's going to be politically correct, so we're going to go do this. And like, that's even worse. And I guarantee if you were to talk to Peter Dinklage, he would be bothered by this too, because instead of them actually doing something about the issue involving little people, like, his whole point wasn't that you shouldn't necessarily use little people in that. It was that, why are we stereotyping them? Why can't we use them as people?
Yeah, but
his whole point was it's exactly like we're talking about,
right?
With shoving a black character into it. Yeah. Like,
no,
the movie Thicket. I actually just talked about Thicket in the video.
Oh, I know, dude. I watched that. You recommended that. I couldn't finish it.
Why?
Because
it's a damn good Western.
The dialogue is so bad, and Peter Dinklage does not carry. He can't carry.
Bullshit. He's awesome in that movie. He's badass. Dude, he kicks some ass. Either way, it doesn't matter if you like the movie or not. You'll still agree with what I'm saying. Like, okay, he's not in that movie because he's a little person. It's like, this is a movie. Right. He's a little person as an actor. They do talk about it at a couple points, like it is a part of the story. But for the most part, he's just a bounty hunter with this other group of misfits that's got to go do some shit. And like, that's what he's talking about. That's how you use them. Like, if you're Disney and you're this powerful company, make interesting fucking stories about these things instead of like stereotyping every motherfucker or shoving someone in because it's a quota that you got to do, like Walmart.
Yeah.
It's why everybody's pissed off at the NFL. It's the same thing. Like, these bullshit coach hirings where the Rooney Rule, where they have to interview a black guy. Like, the story with the 49ers is so ridiculous because they had a guy that that had been basically doing the offensive coordinator role for the last couple of years. He's basically a liaison because Shanahan, the head coach, is the offensive coordinator, really. But he's kind of the mouthpiece in a lot of ways because he's the head coach. He can't do everything, right? So they're just going to give him the title of offensive coordinator. He already works for the team. He's worked for the team for years. He's done the role already, and they were just going to simply promote him. Oh, no, because of the Rooney Rule, you can't just promote this guy. So now they got to make these poor black guys and whatever, Asian, whatever, minorities come in and make them look like fools.
Right.
Interview them, even though they know they're not getting the job.
Right.
And it's like, dude, so it's disgraceful.
Yeah, it is.
And the Niners have a lot of minorities that work for them. Like they're in San Francisco. Like it's not like they don't have, you know what I mean? It had nothing to do with the race of the guy. It's just simply, this is a guy who had kind of risen through the ranks in the organization, and they were just going to basically give him a raise because he was already doing the job. They just were going to give him the title because then that meant they could pay him X amount of money. Like, so it's just a joke.
So the underlying, but so the underlying thing is, bringing it back to movies, just write good stories.
Yep.
Just make good characters. Audiences will watch. They will not care. We had a comment in the chat. I can't scroll up, but somebody brought up Blade. Blade is a leading black man superhero.
Yep.
That
a story about a black man played by a black man.
Yeah. And
it wasn't like originally a white guy and they made a black guy in the role. You know, like it would be like this. Redoing the TV series Kung Fu: The Legend Continues, and even though it was played by a white guy and the whole story of it, even though there's a whole thing with, that's probably a great example, but because originally it was supposed to be played by Bruce Lee, but either way, it would be like taking that series, that the whole lore of it, everything, the story of it, the point of it was he's this white guy who was raised by Buddhist monks and is now going to do this, you know, like honor his, you know, the people that taught him and go forward and help people and all that. Remaking that show and putting in an Asian guy, and like you're just forcing him into this role because you're trying to be politically correct, instead of there are a billion things you could do with an Asian guy doing martial arts and like whatever. You don't need to shove that character into that.
Right. Prop Dude said it. He said, this authenticity is what people want. That's why we're here in support. Agree or disagree, have a conversation.
That's why YouTube is blowing up.
Authenticity.
That's why YouTube and podcasts are taking over.
Authenticity is the currency of the day, and if people think that you're not authentic, they're going to tune out. They're going to turn off. They're not going to watch your product. You're not going to do anything. They're going to be like, fuck this. People's bullshit meters are like highly tuned nowadays. That as soon as they smell bullshit.
Do you guys know that the average Mr. Beast video gets more views than the Super Bowl right now?
That makes sense to me.
And Super Bowl not because Mr. Beast. But it's not because Mr. Beast is that great. Well, yeah, but my reason I use Super Bowl is just the highest views of anything on regular TV every year.
Right. Yeah. No, I get you.
And Mr. Beast does this like every week, every other week.
Right.
My point is, it's not because Mr. Beast is so great or whatever. He's a great marketer. I'm not saying he's great. I'm actually not a fan of what he does. But the reason I say that is it shows how many people are now watching YouTube and listening to podcasts, because it's authentic. It's like, it's more real than network TV shit and big Hollywood production movies. It's all part of that same Hollywood elite bullshit. And everybody's tired of that crap. They want authentic stuff. That's why independent horror has been killing it.
Right.
You know, because it's real unique stories, unique characters.
That's where you're going to find the creativity. That's where you're going to find everything.
And look how inclusive horror is.
Oh, horror's has always been inclusive.
Always been. Women, I mean, dude, back in the early 80s, fucking Alien had Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah.
Or Night of the Living Dead had a black man as the main character. And that was so amazing because he didn't cast a black, like the story of how he ended up casting a black man is so awesome because everybody thought he did it as like a political statement or this and that. He was like, no, he was just the best actor.
Right.
Like he had white people, he had, you know, different people audition for that role of Ben, and he didn't cast it because he was a black guy at all. And it was like, it became a big civil rights thing and part of why that movie blew up. But he always, to the day he died, swears that no, it had nothing to do with him being black at all. It simply casted the best actor, and he was the best actor for the role.
Wolfbane says, did you know that Blade was the litmus test for the entire MCU? I didn't know that. I'm not sure. Is that true? I'm not sure. I thought they were just making a movie because
I don't know if that's true.
They did a lot more superhero movies prior to the MCU actually happening.
And after it. And if that was the case, why didn't they ever include Blade in any of the stuff?
Well, it was all it was all right.
But I mean, when they continued to do MCU stuff, they never included Blade in it. Like when they did the Avengers,
they didn't have the rights to him.
To Blade?
Yeah, Sony owned the rights to Blade. Or Fox.
Then how?
Fox owned it.
Oh yeah, that's why it was the whole X-Men.
Yeah.
When that's the only thing that I feel like in the future we can get some cool shit once Disney gets their head out of their ass, which I think is starting to happen. The problem is what we see movie-wise right now is stuff that was basically made 5 years ago. So it's like it's going to take a couple years before we see that Disney is changing. They are. Like internally, there's a lot of changes going on with Marvel and Disney, but it takes years.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
It takes years to see what, and Hollywood in general, like all this stuff we're talking about, Hollywood stuff, it literally is changing and changed in a lot of ways. It's just, it takes years before you really see those changes because it takes years to make art. But it's like the music industry, how much it changed after, Napster and stuff, but it took a number of years before we started to see, oh shit, these big labels basically died. And now all these independent artists are going on their own and starting independent labels. And you know what I mean? So like 10 years later, we saw, oh, wow, like a huge difference in the music industry. And I feel like streaming and all this politically correct, this nonsense, like a lot of the stuff, it's all changing dramatically. It just will take a few years before we really, and that's part of why horror and indie has a one up or a leg up on that stuff, because you can think of a movie, write it and shoot it and release it in like a year or less.
Yeah.
You don't have all the bullshit bells and whistles and all the garbage that goes into making an MCU movie.
It's a lot easier to release. No, I absolutely. So yeah, but well, it should be changing, but don't look to Hollywood for, I would just say don't look to Hollywood for original content anymore. Like, don't judge that.
Yep.
Like,
keep supporting indie and horror.
Yeah. Just find it there, because that's where you're going to find it. The new Shudder release, the Screenbox release, the Tubi original, the stuff that, might not be good, but they're definitely going to be trying a lot harder.
If you want to see how much Hollywood has already changed, not just changing, but changed, look at the awards. Like, that's how you can see the differences, right? Like, if you look at, I don't know what the Academy is going to do yet. We'll know on Thursday, but I'm not even talking about them, but just in general, you look at the Globes, like, dude, it's all the indie stuff. A24 stuff. Like, The Brutalist is going to probably win, for best movie of the year. The Substance and Demi Moore already, got awards at the Globes, and possibly they'll get something at the Academy. Like, it's all the independent stuff. It's been going on for a couple years now. You're not seeing, like, forever. It was like, the big Hollywood movies where every year it was like the movie that's going to win movie of the year was always like whatever that big, like it would be Titanic, you know what I mean? Or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And yet since 2020, every year it's been like one of these indie, A24 won for Everything Everywhere All at Once in 2021, and like last year it didn't win, but it was nominated, was Iron Claw, another A24.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And Brendan Fraser won for that other A24 movie, where he's
the whale.
The Whale.
Yeah.
So you see my point. It's just, that is where you see the difference, because those are the people behind the scenes kind of thing. And that's what they're approving. And that's what they're like, this is what needs to be more of this. And that's how you see a sea change, because that's stuff that can happen right away. The production stuff takes a while for it to actually happen.
Yeah.
So.
All right. I gotta
go to your local art house theaters, man. Like most major cities have art house theaters. and like it's a life-changing experience, man. There's nothing like it, because they're usually like a small kind of rundown little old theater, and not the most comfortable seats. Your feet might stick to the floor, and you'll see a foreign movie and got to read subtitles. It's like a religious experience, dude. I remember like seeing Titane at a little tiny art house theater, and it's like it's crazy. It feels different.
I saw the Pig at an art house theater.
Yeah, the Pig, me too.
Yeah.
So fucking cool. That movie's so good, dude. Oh,
I wish it was horror.
I wish it was horror so I could have talked about that movie. So
yeah,
it was like,
all right,
I gotta like the ending. Why? Because it's like tragic.
No, because I thought it already ended, and then they had the ending. And I was.
Did you ever see Piggy?
You didn't need that. No, I saw the short film. Are you talking about like the fat girl?
The full length, yeah.
Yeah, no, I saw the short film.
I saw that at a little theater too.
I wasn't impressed, but is the feature length decent?
Oh yeah, the short film's like whatever. I think the reason the short film doesn't have the same impact is because it's a short film and doesn't have the time to really build the characters. Whereas the movie, it like builds the family. You know her family, you know her background, you see there's time to see her pain and what makes her the way she is. And the actress is unbelievable. It's the same actress from the short. And that's part of what makes the movies, I think, better, is because she's had a chance to mature a little bit and like almost practice being this character a little longer. It's incredible, dude. That movie is like probably the most slept on, like unique slasher-ish, not quite a slasher, but that's kind of a slasher element to it. Like, dude, and the ending of that movie, holy shit. Like
pretty good.
So intense. Because you just don't know. Up until like the very end, you don't know what's going to happen. Like it could go. It's one of those where one of like three things is going to happen. But it does such a good job of making you. It's on Hulu if anybody's, and there is a dubbed version if you're a lazy ass and won't watch subtitles. But I recommend the subtitles. Like certain foreign movies, even though it's hard for me to read subtitles, it's worth it. It's like When Evil Lurks. I feel like the subtitles are such a part of what makes that movie hit so hard, like there's something different about it.
Okay, last question, then I have to get out of here.
Yeah, me too. I need to eat.
I know you guys are about to hang it up, but what happened to the new Hellboy joint? It went straight.
It came out. Yeah. Like I heard the best thing I heard anybody say was it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
I never saw it. I'm not a big fan of because I loved the Benicio del Toro, or no, is it Guillermo? Yeah, Guillermo, not Benicio. Guillermo del Toro. Yeah. Guillermo del Toro, which is like the second one, right? Hellboy 2.
Yeah.
Or the Golden, I think it's called the Golden Ring or something. I don't know. Anyway, I loved that one. And the first one was fun, but that one I felt like was the best. But this just looked bad. It just looked under budget, and like it looked like the idea of it, like leaning more into the horror elements, could be cool. But like it just looked, and it's kind of like the remake, the Hellboy remake with David Harbour. Same kind of thing with that, where it had a lot of cool elements, and like I love how metal it went, but his makeup and the way he looked in it was bad, and a lot of the effects in it and stuff just looked kind of bad. And so it just, I don't know, it just kind of was like, all right.
Yeah. So anyway, that's that. All right.
Yep. Thanks for hanging with us, guys.
Over 2 hours today. So thanks for hanging out, everybody. It was great talking to you. We'll be back next week, next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. on the West Coast.
Get some questions ready for us.
Yeah. Do that. All right. And subscribe to the Death Rattle Podcast, please. See you around.
Yep. Hey, guys.
Bye-bye.